Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, and this will be the final cast of the day, and, I don't know, for a little bit, for a few days probably, until I find something else I want to cast. This is going to be from Proleague, another single set with Jangbi. Like I said, now that he's starting to win again, I can't help it. I love Jangbi, and I used to cast all of his games, but then I started getting really depressed because he kept losing, so now that he's starting to win again, whether he wins or loses, I'm going to cast basically every Jangbi game I can get my hands on, plus other games that I find. But priority I wonder one will be Jangbi, because he's awesome. And this is going to be Jangbi versus Hyun on Neo Aztec. And it's a 3-player map, and Jangbi starting out in the bottom Jangbi starting out in the bottom right, and Hyun, or MBC, starting out at the 12 o'clock position. I mean, technically, looking at this, you can see the score, that if Jangbi wins this, it ends the series, but that's really not why I'm casting this. If he wins or loses, or the moment in the series is not important at all. All that really matters is that Jangbi's playing. It's really the only important aspect of this. He is throwing down a pylon first, and nothing fishy going on here, no one base play or anything crazy like that, but we'll see what Hyun's got for us. Hyun's been a career, 45 to 50% player in every matchup, in everything, in every situation. No matter what happens, he wins about 45 to 50% of his games. So he's a solid pro gamer, but I wouldn't call him a particularly special or impressive pro gamer, but he is a very, very solid one. And he's a good barometer, you know. There are certain players that you play them, and if you beat them, it's like, all right, well, I know that if you can beat them consistently, you know, if you actually feel like you're better than them, it's a good barometer of where you gauge. It means that you're in the upper half or so of pro gamers. So Hyun is one of those players. I think Roro is another step above Hyun. But if you're better than Roro, if you can beat Roro consistently, you know, you're another notch up. They're just good barometers because they're consistent players that are solid. So I don't know. That's kind of how I think of Hyun. I don't know if I guess it's not insulting, but it's not meant to be insulting. It's not particularly flattering either, I suppose. But that's kind of where he is. He's just a very solid, slightly above average player is where I would put him. And he is going to be annoyed here by Jangbi let him get that hatchery down. That's disappointing. I didn't think Jangbi would let that happen. And let's see how many Zerglings Hyun produces. Looks like 4, 6. Will it be 8? 6 probably. It's probably just 6. Occasionally you will see 8 if they're going to go for a run by, but this probe would scout it out if there was another larva produced of Zerglings. But no, it's going to be a drone. He's also going to set up for his third base at the 9 o'clock position, which is the natural of that main, which is obviously just below it. And this probe going to continue getting a full scout on. Jangbi reacting accordingly, getting a cannon along with his Nexus. So he'll be prepared to counter any sort of a Ling run-by. He should be in good shape, and should be about to get his gateway and assimilator up pretty soon as well. So he'll be in pretty good shape. Looks like Hyun is probably going to morph his natural expansion into a lair. That seems the most likely bet, considering he's got Zerglings on his ramp between his main and his natural. That's usually used to stop a probe from getting a scout on your natural expansion. Usually that means that either you're going to put a tech building there, like a Hydra Den or something, or that you're going to morph that into your lair, and you don't want your opponent to know the exact timing of that lair. So it's usually the purpose there. Actually, looks like those Zerglings are coming off the ramp now. Now he's just sick of that probe. Now he's just like, all right, you know what? I was going to hide something, but now I'm just sick of that freaking probe. I'm going to kill it. And Jangbi actually navigating that that Zergling wall and manages to get through it. Will he get into the natural expansion? I think there's a drone there. Nope, the drone's not going to try and stop it, but he gets into the natural, sees the hatchery, and nothing else. Now he might go back into the main, or he could go scouting for the third base. Both of them are very important things to do. Going back into the main, try and scout out that. Once again, you're looking for layer timing, you're looking for a tech building, and the other choice is that you're also going to look for that third base. Where is he taking it? Has he taken it at the natural, as you would expect? I think Jangbi would expect it to be at the 9 o'clock position, but occasionally it comes elsewhere. Hydra's Den has just morphed in, so it looks like Jangbi is going to have to prepare for a Hydra break. Unfortunately, since he is going to look for that 9 o'clock base and is going to find it, he is not going to scout out the Hydra Den particularly quickly. He's going to get here to the 9 o'clock position. As long as those are drones, unless those are Hydralists, he should not. He still will be in the dark about the Hydra break that's going to be coming his way, or likely Hydra break. As I mentioned earlier today, if occasionally you will see players go with a 3-hatch Hydra, that's really just a feint in order to force their opponent to play defensively and allow them to easily get up the 4th base. That does occur on occasion. That's not But generally, when you see this, you do think that it's going to be a Hydra break, and something that Protoss needs to prepare for. He does have a Stargate just about completed. Jangbi does, so he'll be able to get a Corsair out to get the Scout on. Still looking to see some Hydras form. Maybe he's just... Still don't even see a layer, so it's not like this is a Lurker play, I don't think. Yeah, it's not Lurker. He just has the Hydra den, but hasn't bothered to produce any Hydras. Maybe waiting to get one of the upgrades. Probably get Speed first, and then start pumping his Hydras, so that way he has got... in the meantime, just continue to pump drones. And this probe going to get into the natural expansion, once again dodging Zerglings, and is going to see that Hydras. There he goes. He sees the Hydras, and as he moves on, he's going to see more Hydras, and I think he's got to have a pretty decent idea of what's coming his way. He's backing off with his Zealots and getting some more cannons, so Jangbi reacting very, very well again. So he's right on top of it, keeping his probe alive, getting his scouting going, and is he going to get... He actually does get into the main, sneaks past that Hydras, sees the lair and the Hydra den, so he sees all the tech buildings and all the information that's available, basically every bit that he could possibly use. There really is no information left that he doesn't have. I guess number of drones at the 9 o'clock base, but it's not really a big deal. He's getting his Templar archives up as well, along with these cannons. So he will have DTs out pretty soon. Forgot to look to see if he was still producing Corsairs or not, and almost losing a Hydralist, so a little bit sloppy there from Hyun, almost losing a Hydralist to cannons, as he does not quite have range yet. Once he does, once that kicks in, you'll see him start to pick at that forge and that gateway pretty quickly and easily, and he'll probably get rid of both of them before Jangbi has enough forces out in order to force the Hydras back. Probably both of them will go down. But if Jangbi can get +1 out of that forge, that's really what he wants out of this. If he can get that +1 out of that forge, he'll be relatively safe with this. And he will have gotten most of what he needs out of it. Obviously, you want to get +2 as quick as you can, but you can get another forge. As long as you get that +1 timing pretty well, he'll be pretty happy. And there's Hyun being very, very sloppy with Hydras, almost losing Hydras left and right to cannons as he's trying to get in range. And this Corsair looks like it's going to get a few more Overlord kills if Hyun doesn't come back and try and stop it. There it goes. It's going to get one more right there. And will it get any more before Hydras come into play? Hyun going with the no Spire build. Remember, with these no Spire builds, these are so risky with your Overlords. Your Overlords are so at risk when you go with the no Spire build. Hydra's just not good enough, in my opinion. Just not good enough to guard your Overlords. Especially when you're going for a break at the same time. And some Zealots actually pushing out for Jangbi here. I think he's just trying to buy time for that force to finish. He really wants that +1 to finish, and that's why these Zealots are going out there. And then here we go. Now he's got +1 and speed done, and he's going to go for a run by here and going to engage some Zerglings maybe trying to, just trying to get around this. So that +1 does finish. He gets what he needs out of that forge literally seconds before it goes down. So that's a very, very close for Jangbi, but he does get it. And no SimCity here at the 9 o'clock position. Look at this. He has another hatchery there, and now he's getting another hatchery at the for his 4th base. But there's no SimCity there at all. Nothing. No, not a zilch. It's just completely wide open. So Zealots, Dragoons, anything can just walk in there, and there's no sunken colonies, no defenses whatsoever. Looks like a couple Zealots and a DT are actually heading there right now, and a couple of Hydras have just been spawned, so that should be enough to defend. There is an Overlord there as well, unless Jangbi can bring in some Corsairs. It looks like he has 3 right now, unless he can bring in some Corsairs to try and fend it off. We could actually see an attack here where the Corsairs go after the Overlords, and the DT goes after the Hydras, as the Hydras kind of have to make a choice at that point. What do they go after? And the DT not choosing to engage here. He's going to try and keep it alive as long as possible and try and pick off all of the Overlords. He gets the second one. Is there any more? No, that's all of the Overlords, which means this DT has free run over this base. There's 1 kill. How many more drones will he get? Will he get any more? He gets a second drone, and now he's stopped mining at this base for a while, and he may actually even go to the 4th base and look to do some damage there as well. In the meantime, he's going to start picking at some Hydras. He's getting his robotics facility up and running, at least to get an observatory to deal with these lurkers. There is a lurker contain being put on inside of his base. This DT with 3 kills going into the main of this 9 o'clock base. Going to see the 2 hatcheries here. So tons of hatcheries going up for Hyun. He looks like he was going for one of those Zergling heavy builds, or possibly a big Hydra lurker kind of break, and that's not really going to be available to him, as this DT just being a big nuisance. And it looks like the DT is going to get found out. Is it going to get picked off? Probably will get picked off. More Corsairs still in the air looking for more Overlords to kill. This Overlord being basically sacrificed into the main to get a gateway count as well as a tech count. And sees it all. Here come the Corsairs coming back. Wants to stop that Overlord. Doesn't want that Overlord to see the timing of everything. That is a really good use of that Overlord. I have to say, very, very well done. And now High Templar being loaded up into that shuttle, so we should be seeing a storm drop here pretty shortly. A creep colony coming up at that 4th base at the 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know what I mean. The 4th base. we have a creep colony coming up, but it won't be enough to stop a High Templar drop. High Templar don't need that much time to get their storms off, so it's not going to be enough. There are a couple more gateways coming up for Jangbi as well. Jangbi not looking to take a third base yet, which means that he's going to have to do some damage against this 4-base Zerg that we see. This 4-base Turtle Zerg, you need to deal some damage or expand aggressively, or in some cases both, but you really do need to do some damage if you don't get that third base up. And here he looks like he's going to drop off from High Templar here. Will he? No, he's not going to drop it off. He looked like he was going to. So he's going to hold that High Templar in reserve, and when the drones come back, he should be able to get a good storm off. In the meantime, where is the shuttle going to go? Will he go back into the main? Perhaps if there's a DT in there as well. Occasionally you will see a High Templar and DT drops, which combined, which are so powerful. It looks like the shuttle moving towards the 9 o'clock base, and a lurker over there underneath an overlord. Can it reach that High Templar? No, it doesn't look like it can reach that High Templar. Now it looks like this shuttle is going into the main, and it's going to drop off 2 Zealots, and a High Templar who's just going to get a storm is going to get a bunch of drones. Looks like that's probably about a 7-kill High Templar. I didn't get to catch it. It died so quickly. I'm sure you guys can pause it and look at how many kills that High Templar had, but I think it was about 7 kills or so. Getting a bunch of drones, and these Zealots actually are going to be a nuisance as well, picking at the Hydras while the Hydras were trying to stop the Corsairs. The Corsairs got a couple more Overlord kills as well. So some good work going on here by Jangbi, and he's aggressively taking his third base now. Now that he's done a little bit of drone damage, expects his opponent to macro up more drones now. Now that he's down several drones, he expects Hyun to macro up drones, and looks like that's exactly what's happened at the end. He's called it perfectly. So if your opponent's if you can predict your opponent going droning up, then that means that you can go and take your third base while they don't have the lings, the speedlings, and I think a hive should be close to done, if not done already. Or the cracklings or anything to deal with it, and that is really well done by Jangbi. A fantastic timing there to get the successful harassment into new base. And it looks like Hyun's going to be turtling up hardcore. We saw 4 more creep colonies going down, so a ton of creep colonies. He is not going to be building much of an army. He's going to be joining up hard behind this, taking up hard, looking to get defilers and cracklings, possibly drops, that sort of thing. That's going to be the sort of play that he goes for here, because he's not going to have enough of an army to confront Jangbi head on here. Jangbi is getting that third base up and running. Once he gets that third gas, he'll be able to start getting a lot more Archons and Reavers and start transitioning into more of that late game Protoss play. You can start getting a lot more DT drops. All sorts of things become available to you. Once you get that third gas as a Protoss player, you are in really, really good shape to keep up your harassment and keep up your assault if you can get that third base up and running and safe. Of course, they're still inside of the main, just making sure that there's no overlords there ever. So if a shuttle does want to come back in for another storm drop or a DT drop or something, that is available to them. One spore colony at the natural expansion, not going to stop this fleet of Corsairs. I gotta think that they're +1. I haven't looked, but I gotta think that they're +1 Corsairs just tearing through overlords left and right, and yeah, just doing a ton of damage. And now we got another shuttle loaded up, a new shuttle loaded up. It looks like Zealots. I did see some Zealots and did not see what else. We'll see if that's High Templar DTs or it's just a straight up Zealot drop that we're going to be seeing coming up here. Jangbi moving his forces back towards the natural expansion of Hyun, going to put some more pressure on that spot. Probably going to put some pressure on that spot, force those Hydras that are inside of the main of Hyun to come to his natural to defend, and then drop the main. That looks like kind of the strategy that Jangbi's going for here. However, Hyun is countered with like 15 colonies inside of his natural expansion. Jesus, so many colonies of various forms. Only one spore colony though outside that at that 9 o'clock base, and only one spore at this natural as well. The shuttle does get picked off, but it does manage to drop off for Zealots. Storm going on all over those lurkers, taking out a lot of them, and these Dragoons are actually pretty good at breaking sunken colonies, but it doesn't look like he's got enough. He might have been able to break it theoretically, but the problem is that he wants to keep his army alive as long as he can, because he's going to have Reavers coming up as we see that support bay, and also if a bunch of Lings come from the backside, he will be in terrible shape. And it looks like some DTs have gotten in here into the main. I thought it was just Zealots. Maybe there's another shuttle somewhere, but DTs have magically reappeared inside of the main, and that does look like another shuttle, and these Corsairs picking off one last overlord. They do pick it off, which means that there's a couple DTs here inside of the main that are going to have free reign and are going to be able to basically just do a lot of damage here. And this shuttle, will it get out? Will Jangbi even notice that it's still alive? It looks like it is going to get out, and these DTs completely nullifying mining at this base. Some overlords coming into play here once again, so it looks like they will be enough to stop these DTs from doing too much damage, but Jangbi just keeping the pressure on Hyun left and right. This is almost like This is like Bisu style harassment, you know, Bisu being the player that's most well known for his harassment style in PvZ, but this is kind of that sort of style where that Jamie's going for constant drops, keep your opponent on the back foot, and just bypass all of their sunken colonies. Jamie, in the meantime, has taken his 4th base at his mineral only and is setting up for a 5th base as well. He has that Nexus going down, provided he can hold it, he'll have that 5th base at the bottom left, and he's got some Zealots there to defend against some sort of Zergling run by, and there comes the Zerglings, and they're going to get stopped by Zealots, so I think Hyun knows that that's going up, and at this point, Hyun's got to be a little worried. He's got to suspect that Jamie's on 4 to 5 bases. He probably suspects that Jamie's on 4, maybe 5 bases, and that's definitely got to be a concern for Hyun. Hyun's got to do something now, but he's invested so much in defense, so many into those sunken colonies, did not expect Jamie to aggressively expand, thought that Jamie would go for a 2-base break, and now he's kind of in trouble a little bit for it, due to that over defensive style that he's playing. Another storm drop went down here inside of the main. Doesn't look like it caught too many drones. Yeah, it doesn't look like it was as successful. It damaged a lot. Damaged a lot of Hydras, damaged a lot of drones, but it doesn't look like they were actually able to get many kills. So, much better defended this time from Hyun. A couple more Overlords looks like they're going to go down here as well. Hyun has lost so many Overlords this game, and it looks like he's actually setting up for a drop. He's going to try and drop that bottom left base, and with a lot of Hydras, Lings, and a Defiler as well, so there will be Swarm available. And Jamie, does he see this? He is moving his forces back. I don't know if this is in direct counter to this drop, but he sees it now, so he should be able to bring his forces back. But he does have some Zealots there as well, which will be able to operate under Swarm, while the cannons obviously will be minimally useful. Those Zealots will remain to deal some damage, and how much forces are left in here. The swarms are going down. A lot of cracklings are in play right now, and that Defiler looks like there might even be 2 Defilers in there putting out tons of swarms. And will there be enough here to defend for Jamie? I can't tell how many cracklings are left. It just doesn't look like there's that many cracklings left as the whole army for Jamie comes back, and there's more than enough Zealots to defend there. And it looks like some of the cannons even live, so that drop by Hyun not doing much of anything. That's the sort of thing that he needed to do. Unfortunately, did not have enough cracklings in there, not a big enough drop in order to take down that base as that main army of Jangbi came back. That main army from Jangbi is getting to the point where it is just too strong for Hyun to challenge at all. He's going to have to just, you know, keep trying these drops, keep trying to sneak Zerglings around and try and take out the eco of his opponent. But Jamie having none of it. There is another drop appears to be coming from on the right side, but Jamie looks like he might actually be scouting it out. Maybe saw those Scourge, maybe could actually intercept here. He's got a Corsair there, and here come all the Overlords. Actually, the Overlords, it looks like he's going for a double drop here. He's going for this 5th base. He gets the swarm down, and he's also going for the main as well, but there are a couple Reavers there at that 5th base, and they should be enough to defend. And look at all these Overlords. Where are they going to drop inside of the main? They need to drop their units, and here they come. It looks like they're dropping some Hydras, but a lot of those Overlords went down as Jamie basically predicted this with all those cannons there, with 4 or 5 cannons stopping most of that drop from even going off, with all of the Overlords being destroyed. So Jangbi defending these drops by Hyun perfectly, fantastically, amazingly. Jangbi playing out. Jambi's just playing amazing this game, reacting perfectly, aggressively expanding as he sees his opponent defending, and countering the drop play, knowing that was the most likely alternative that Hyun would go with, rather than some sort of breakout where he has to find a way out of his own sunken colonies, knowing that really wasn't very likely, and really preparing for it appropriately. Those Reavers at that 5th base, along with the cannons at his main, perfect. He's got a Dark Archon melded in as well, probably for feedback, could also be for Maelstrom. Both spells very effective against Zerg. Mind Control would make me laugh. Here comes a shuttle into the 4th base. It's going to drop off a couple High Templars, and these are going to be really effective storms, as Hyun has no idea this is going on, and actually that could have been more effective by Jamie, but I think he expected Hyun to react, so he placed that one storm kind of back a little bit, and unfortunately Hyun did not react at all, and it looks like there was another storm there at the the natural of the 9 o'clock as well, so Hyun has just been constantly harassed. That Archon has 7 kills, that High Templar has 2 kills. Looks like, yeah, I mean, this is going really bad for Hyun right now. It looks like he got a Plague off, but it doesn't look like it caught too much. Caught an Archon and probably a few Zealots, something like that, but not a lot. And oh, big storm coming off from that shuttle, that High Templar that was in that shuttle. So great play once again by Jangbi, catching more drones. So I mean, Hyun really falling behind in this game right now, really falling very, very far behind. He's down in base count. He's getting that mineral only, but that's really not really going to help him much enough. Good, nice feedback on that on that Defiler, taking it down. They did get the swarms down, but Reavers under swarm do a lot of damage, as Zerg players know and Protoss players understand. Reavers are fantastic under swarm, and those Reavers doing tons of damage here to those Lurkers as he's trying to play Lurker defense. But here come the Observers. Here comes a big storm catching Hyun, and all those Lurkers go down, and Hyun is just in huge trouble here. This game could actually come to a conclusion right here if Jangbi can bust this open right now. It looks like he's coming in here with the 2 Reavers, and this might be enough to bust this whole thing open. The Spore colony goes down. All of those sunken colonies in the front are almost dead. Good storm coming in there, picking off that Lurker, and the front storms, or the front sunken colonies, are all down. Still more forces here for Jangbi, and it looks like the back sunken colonies are starting to fall down. Only a couple left, 1 left, and that Lurker getting stormed again. So it looks like things are coming to a close here for Hyun. Will he be able to defend? I don't think he will. He just doesn't look like he has enough drones, and you know, it's just one of those things. And here come units through the Nidus Canal, and Jangbi not focusing the Nidus Canal. He's like, all right, bring units through the Nidus Canal. I've got Reavers, I've got storms. He still has a lot of High Templar left, and how many storms do they have in there? Look at this. This is just constant storms over that Nidus Canal. He's letting Hyun keep that Nidus Canal because he knows he can just storm it constantly. That is awesome by Jangbi. That is like goading your opponent. That's taunting your opponent. Here, keep bringing units as fast as you possibly can. I can storm it all. And Jangbi just playing fantastically here. Here come a lot of Lurkers from behind. And where are all these storms coming from? How does Jangbi have more energy for all these storms? He had there's still more storms coming from Jangbi, coming from all over the place. Constant storming coming from Jangbi. Here comes another shuttle. There was a Reaver inside of there. Gonna pick off a couple more Zerglings and might actually pick off some drones as well. But he's just gonna exit with that shuttle. I think he's just gonna run away. I don't think there's too much of a point to stay there anymore. Yeah, he's just gonna pick up that Reaver and get out while he can. But I think the damage has been done. That natural expansion falling is going to be enough, I believe, for this game to come to a close. Jangbi has spammed High Templar. He's going to build a lot of Archons, and without Ultras, without, you know, I mean, I guess you can go with really good Scourge play and use Lurkers to counter it maybe, but realistically, not a lot you can do there. 1 High Templar being dropped here at the mineral only, catching a couple more drones, so it's constant harassment, and Hyun is just not being allowed to macro up off of the 4 bases that he has. I guess, yeah, I mean, that 9 o'clock natural goes down, so now he's basically only mining off like 3. Is that mineral only not really mining? Oh, he's actually taking the top right mineral only as well, so maybe he's got a little bit more than I thought. This Reaver coming back in, that 29 kill Reaver coming back in, 30 kill Reaver. Now it's picking up the Sunken and Spore colonies, and how many more drones will it get? 32 kill Reaver. Will it get some more? 37 kill Reaver. 38. GG from Hyun as he sees the 38 kill Reaver and all the Archons coming his way. Hyun has nothing left. Jangbi wins a great PVZ, defeating the 4-base Turtle Zerg, aggressively expanding as Hyun was droning and defending and building down colonies. Jangbi playing that fantastically, and Jangbi is back, ladies and gentlemen. He is now on a, I believe this is now puts him on a 7-game winning streak. I think this game, let me go check real fast. I believe he's now on a 7-game winning streak. No, I'm sorry. This is a 7-game winning streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-game winning streak, and 10 of his last 11. The only game he's lost in his last 11 games is to Hydra on La Mancha. So he's playing really, really well right now, Jangbi, and he's kind of taken over for Samson Khan. His stroke has really been struggling lately. So Jangbi right on top of his game, and yeah, some fantastic play. So that was it. That's going to be it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed all these casts. I cast 7 games for you guys. So hopefully this will tide you over for a little bit. I know it's been a few weeks since I've put anything up on YouTube. But also remember, check out Team Liquid whenever games occurring midnight Eastern time. I can't remember what that Korean time is. I think it's 12 Korean time. 17, I can't remember what the Korean times are. But either way, the earlier games that occur at midnight, I will occasionally cast because obviously I'm still awake at midnight. Whereas the 5 o'clock games, I have no chance. I'm not up at 5 a.m. So that's that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys all next time.